Shalom. Hold on a second. Turn up the volume. Shalom. My name is Yehoshua and this is a commentary on Zach's video about the atheists. Well, I looked at it and very unimpressive. I'm sorry, impressive. It comes highly recommended. I have just one question. In all due humility, these are some very, very formidable scientists. I'm just a humble didactic scientist, and I looked at the incredible list of people. The question is this: atheism, is this not merely an extension of man and mankind's exile, and in its extreme intellectual manifestation, the form in which secular humanism achieves its ascent, its sense of morality and ethics, as that which is self-contained, coming from man, and thus obviously there's no God. But I want to ask just one more question. Oh, by the way, I haven't introduced myself. I'm Yehoshua formerly Michael O'Donnell, born and raised a Christian, and I now live in Jerusalem for the past 22 years. And now my other question, and it is this: has anybody ever heard lately, let's talk about in the last few years, of the end of the exile of man and mankind? And if you have, what can you tell me about it? And if you haven't, let me suggest that you find out. I'll just use a simple analogy from physics. You have in physics in 101, you have the local reality and the quantum reality. In the former, if it collapses, you're supposed to be in the quantum reality. Just one little technical glitch. You know, the condition of man and mankind's exile is a function of what's in his brain. The exile of man is not physically, as we learn in the Bible, living and existing in a place outside of the primary nation of habitation, though that's a model that's commonly defining it. Okay. So the question is, if you collapse the local reality and the anthropologic, sociologic, psychologic model of mind, which happens to have been in exile, giving to receive, I give, I get. That's pretty simple. That's the model of behavioral man. If that collapses and we're not, for some reason, the evidence empirically and logically is we're not in the quantum reality, my question is, then where are we? Good question. And if we're not in the quantum reality and we can't answer it, let's take a guess. Let's say, supposing we're in the middle, we're suspended, we're levitating. Can that be for all of man and mankind? Well, that's a place that could fester a heck of a lot of atheism. I mean, man and mankind could very easily be interviewed there and be found to be rather pliable. But anyway, that said, who am I to question the great scientists and intellectuals of the world who've all chosen atheism? And now let me just ask one more question. If we end the denial and by some miraculous feat, man and mankind, it's hypothetical. Man and mankind just discovers recently that there's the end of the exile of man and mankind because of the collapse of the local reality, and there's speculation as to what this means, and we find some way to overcome this hypothetical question Yehoshua raises about the blocking of the ascent from the local reality collapse to the quantum reality. So we solve that problem, we end the blockage, and we inhabit the quantum reality. Can anybody tell me what that quantum reality is? Well, you know, we're supposed to be, according to the atheists, and particularly Mr. Hitchkins and Pat Donnell and there's unlimited numbers of experts. You know, we're supposed to be primitive and backward. So let me just ask this last question of these experts, which is what is the quantum reality? If there's any basis to this thesis that the local reality has collapsed around the globe and has ended man and mankind's exile, then we're in the quantum reality. And what is it? Well, I'll suggest just one little thought that you might want to reflect on for a couple of centuries if you're not busy. It's called Kabel B'Shvilatet in Hebrew, and that's receiving to give. And to all the atheists that I've heard so proud of their atheism, wearing it on their shirt sleeves and throwing away the God of the cosmos, look, I've never met an atheist in my life who couldn't and wouldn't invent God if he didn't exist. But okay, that's just my perverse sense of humor. But having said that, in any event, the question is receiving to give. Receiving what? Let me suggest that Kabel B'Shvilatet, it means in Hebrew, in English, receiving to give, and receiving what means receiving the real you, the authentic you, not the one who spins up a brilliant logical deduction empirically and logically, whether deductively or inductively, that he says I'm an atheist and throws away the authentic identity that's never been revealed. So receiving the authentic you to give the authentic you to who? You got it. To you. Very good. To your spouse, to your children, to your family, your community, to the world. Now that's sorry, you can't use a Hebrew word. That's a model of redemption that I can really vote for. And you know what? I've met a lot of atheists that say, if only that were true, I wouldn't be an atheist. You want the good news or the bad news? It is true. Okay? So don't get mad at me. Don't shoot the mailman. It's, the God of the cosmos is his magnificent, brilliant dialogic. It's a local call here in Jerusalem. So if you haven't got any change or you haven't got a credit card, you come here and you can make a local call and you can get all this worked out in your mind. And so to all you atheistic loving rocket scientists, I wish you Kabel B'Shvilatet. That's the blessing of redemption, which is receiving the authentic you to give the authentic you to the authentic you. And the rest is commentary. I thank you. I'm Yehoshua Yaakov, formerly Michael O'Donnell, born and raised a Christian. Oy vey. What? And anyway, so that's another story. And I don't mean to be arrogant or wise guy or to put anybody on the defensive, but before we get carried away with our seriousness of ourself and science, it's a pretty good idea, and I recommend it highly, to be a little bit humble before the God of the cosmos, because he by the way, you don't have to worry. He's a very patient God. You can have at least 4 or 5 or maybe a few thousand incarnations of your karma if you're into that. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm Yehoshua Yaakov, and be well. Thank you. Shalom.